And this nut here is stuck. This is cast iron from about 40 years ago, and then this is the thin sheet metal. This all went underwater in Katrina, so it's all corroded. I've been wailing on this with the wrench here and still can't get it to undo, so what I do is I put some Kroil on here. It's a little bit better than PB Nut Blaster or WD-40, but that's just the Kroil here that I end up using a lot of stuff that went underwater in Katrina. It's got some type of mystery goop that goes through and penetrates in, and then I'll let it sit here, and then I'll go tap on this over here. Let it sit for maybe half a day. Sometimes it takes a while. It'll penetrate in there, and I'll go ahead and try it again with the wrench, but that helps try to loosen up things that kind of got corroded. This is underneath the sink here in a house that went underwater in Katrina. These holes here under here are where I've used a rotozip to go through and dig through, take out the paneling, and go in there and reach around and grab out the old insulation. We've got a Coleman light here with some light, and all this piping and stuff's all rotten, so I'm going to put plastic back in there. But this is one thing here that this has still been stuck on here for a long time, so putting the Kroil on there will help me see if I can unfree that. I don't want to really have to undo that fitting there if I have to, because it is fairly thick. It looks like it's in good shape, but all the rest will be put. Okay, we got a different light here. It's another day. Get in here and got the Fuller number 42. And we got this thing to come off there. So putting some goop on there and kind of tapping it and letting it sit, I was able to unscrew this. I was thinking about taking the motor tool and cutting this ring off. I've done that sometimes, go in there and just use a grinding wheel or cutting tool. I just didn't want to have to screw around with the threads. Now, the tube is stuck in there, so I don't know if that's glued in there or whatever, but that's another story. I'm going to try to see if I can, I don't know if that's bonded in there, get that tube out of there. That's the fun stuff of plumbing. And that might be just rusted in there again. I'll probably put some more Kroil in there and then beat on it, or see if I can pull it out of there with pliers. I prefer to see if I can not tear up stuff. As long as you can see a little bubble in there, sometimes that stuff will wick in there, and that'll help free up. The stuff kind of penetrates in there pretty well. I'm not sure how that was assembled. It was done probably 40 years ago, but that salt gets in there and it corrodes like mad. Anything, all this stuff went underwater in salt water. It's not the proper tool to do that. Let's try to put this on here. This might crush this pipe. Might have to put a strap on there. Yeah, it doesn't want to come. Okay, I've got a small little pair of vice grips there, and what I'm going to do is zoom in and show you the crack that's right here. What I do is I move this back and forth, and then if you put some goop on there, you can see it's kind of got an area in there that it's penetrating in, and so just doing that helps any type of penetrant, whether it's Kroil or it's WD-40 or PB Nut Blast or whatever, it gives it a fighting chance to get in there and try to free it up. So a lot of this stuff has got corrosion to where it's bonded in there. If I cut that off with a hacksaw, I still got to get the old part out. Kind of a little bit of action and putting the goop in there, moving it around, it'll penetrate in deeper. So I'm putting some pressure on there to open up the gap some, and that'll let that stuff free in there. That's got an exceptional ability to get in there and free up things. Again, I've been using some Kroil here. I got this off eBay. I get some of these cans. It's sort of a mystery product that I kind of discovered that I tend to use in a lot of things. I've been able to get a lot of stuff undone that got all corroded that I found nothing else will work on. And so you can always put a big wrench in a lot of things. It's hard to get up underneath here in the sink, and I'm really not trying to tear up the pipe and stuff at the other end without evolving the project unless I want to take all this junk apart. So this is the next day. I end up putting a wrench in here and really wailing on it. I've been able to get this thing to rotate a little bit through here, so I'm making some progress. And I think I can get this sucker out of here without undoing all that pipe. But I was able to get this thing to rotate here, and that's a good sign. But you get something to move, you can get that penetrant will get in there and move some. Yeah, I really mutilated the hell out of that, but I've been able to get this thing to rotate around so I can get that sucker out of there. Yeah, I finally got it pretty much freed up. So once you get that to revolve in there, oh, what a mess. That still won't come out of there. Really torn it up. Probably should have tried to get that fitting off, but I should be wearing gloves. Well, that's ain't in there. Hey, I got it off. That's iron fittings from 40 years ago. That goes into a brick wall there. So to get at all that stuff may not be so easy, but if this guy is thick enough and it's in good shape, there's probably there's a bunch of rust. I'll have to see what the condition that is. What I may end up doing, I'm going to put some more Kroil up on here and see if I can go through and undo that fitting. Try not to take the whole house apart. Again, that hole in the wall there is where a rotozip was put through. In the back of the sink here, there's a brick wall behind there, and that's blackboard. So I used a rotozip. In the rotozip, you go through and I cut the hole out and pull the insulation out years ago. Now, in this project here, I may be able to get that fitting off. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and soak this thing with some Kroil on there and then tap on this here where I'm not going to damage the threads, and sometimes that'll do is you'll break something on there. I'll let the penetrant get in there, but if I can't get that off, it probably is in decent enough shape to get some more years out of it. That's a double sink. And this is all the part that's going to be replaced with plastic. It's all corroded up. So if I can't get that fitting off, I'll probably leave that in there. Sometimes just waiting, putting some stuff on there. I'm going to try to whale on again. I could probably go in there and heat that up a little bit with a torch, maybe to try to, sometimes thermally to break it. Tapping on it, put some goop. We'll see. Again, this is the Miracle flashlight that I love. I wish I could get some more of these things. It's got a cool position, and I can go through and aim this thing anywhere I want to. It's very stable.